I've gathered a bunch of Sephora's newest makeup, and because this is my job, I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna tell you if it's worth it so that you do or do not have to take the plunge. I'm here to guide you in the right direction when it comes to purchasing makeup, and we have a lot of new makeup at Sephora to play with today that I myself have been very curious about. These are some of my favorite videos to film because who doesn't love just playing with makeup? Let's come a little too uncomfortably close. To prep my lips, I have this new seasonal fall flavor from Laneige in their lip sleeping mask, Pumpkin Pie. Right up my alley. If you know anything about me and if you're in my real life, you know I'm addicted to pumpkin flavored things. I love pumpkin drinks, pumpkin cakes, pumpkin butter. If it's pumpkin themed, I'm buying it. So you can bet your bottom dollar, as soon as Trader Joe's released the majority of their pumpkin stuff, I went there and purchased a whole cart full of the pumpkin flavored items. And I'm in heaven. This is my favorite time of year. My gestational diabetes test is also coming up, so you know, just in case. I gotta enjoy the sweets while I can without going too crazy, of course, but you know. I'm thankful for every sweet treat I'm able to eat right now until we can pass that test. Anyways, this is like not the best lip mask in the world, but I always love their different flavors. I still use it regularly. You guys know how I feel about these. It's not pumpkin-y enough. I'm not vibing with this pumpkin flavor personally. A little disappointed in this. I mean, it's nice that they have it, and I can appreciate a pumpkin theme, but it's not pumpkin-y enough for me. Now, Fenty Beauty has been launching a lot, like a ton of new items of late. I mean, I have a ton just in this video that I may or may not use today. And that's not even including their actual holiday collection, which I don't even have yet. But they did just launch some new primers. It looks really, really cool in the packaging. So there's one that is the Grip Trip Mattifying and Blurring Primer, which is the pink one. And the purple one is the Grip Trip Hydrating and Plumping Primer. Now the mattifying and blurring one, I would be a little bit more inclined to play with in the summer. But it's getting towards winter, and as you guys know, I've been struggling with my skin. I need the hydration right now, but this is what it looks like coming out. So it goes from this to this. Let's see. So this is the hydrating one, you guys. You guys missed it. Okay, it feels more lightweight than I thought. With it being called Grip Trip, I was worried it would feel sticky and heavy, but it doesn't. Oh, this does have a nice hydration to it. And it's not too grippy or tacky. I don't really like that. I find makeup is harder to blend on top of the grippy primers. I mean, if you have oily skin, I totally understand the purpose. But for me, I'm just not a fan of grippy primers very much. But no, this feels really, really good. I think as it sets down, it definitely gets a little bit more tacky, but not anything that I'm bothered by. So there is a little bit of grip, but it does feel pretty nicely hydrating. I don't think it replaces a moisturizer by any means, but it does add an extra layer of hydration prior to makeup, especially if it's been a little bit since you've done your skincare. So far, so good. Not too heavy, nice consistency. I'm liking this. Armani Beauty just launched a new skin tint. Interesting time of year to launch it, but this is the Golden Hour lightweight skin tint with hyaluronic acid. I'm going to go for the shade N2. I'm going to shake it first. So this is supposed to immediately plump, smooth, and illuminate skin, delivering buildable coverage with a weightless texture and glowing finish. Let's see about that. Amazing. It comes with a pump. Now, I was excited for this because Armani does an amazing job with their complexion products, so I was curious about this skin tint. Here's what the consistency looks like. Let's just put this on. It's actually spreading out beautifully with my fingers. I can see it does have a light coverage, but it is evening out the complexion, you guys. Look how much better my acne has gotten, but there's always got to be one spot. Always on my face at all times. I can't be acne free. But I was having huge issues with here in the beginning of my pregnancy, and it's kind of clearing up, but I don't want it to hear me. I'm scared it's gonna be like, oh, you thought you were in the clear? But just using my fingers to blend that out, I didn't even end up pulling a brush out because it's so thin, so watery. but it doesn't really have any streak marks, and that did make the skin look overall more fresher. I think because this does have a lighter coverage, I'm going to go a little bit heavy-handed with my concealer today in more broad areas. But yeah, you can see where I put a thicker amount. It's a little bit watery, not in a bad way. It is a skin tint. It's supposed to be weightless, but I want to see how much it can be built up. For review's sake, I'm going to push it in with a BK Beauty 101 brush, which will soak up the excess skin tint. Could be a good or bad thing, depending on what vibe you're going for. I like this. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't look too glowy or too shiny, but it definitely evened everything out, and it feels super lightweight. Definitely has that weightless texture and a somewhat glowing finish, but nothing too sweaty. Now, I will say, critiquing this now that it is all over my skin, I feel like I can kind of see it very, very slightly focusing in on some semi-dry patches. It's really not that dry because it's so thin and water-light. Sometimes products with that consistency have a tendency to almost swim in some fine lines and pores, and I can see it's slightly doing that here, but I'm hoping that as the day goes on and when I warm it up with concealer and stuff, it will hopefully resolve itself, because it looks like skin. It looks like a second skin, but a little bit more evened out, which I think is a look a lot of you guys will desire. So far so good, but it's not perfect. But if it can fix itself with this one issue, it might be, if you want a true, barely there, lightweight skin tint. So I'm just going to quickly, I'm going to put on Armani Luminous Silk Concealer, fill in my brows real quick. I don't have a bronzer, but I actually haven't yet gotten to play with this Urban Decay Naked Shaped Multitasking Palette. This came out a little bit ago, but it's still new to me, so this is interesting. There's a cool toned one and a warm toned one, but these are actually all creams here. And this is like supposed to be multi areas on the face that you can use them. So I'm going to try and maybe use this to sculpt a little bit today, just to see, because this is one of the creams, but it says you can use this for like lips and brows and eyes is what they recommend the creams for. We'll dig into this a little bit more today on the eyes, but this palette has been intriguing me. I've had it for a little bit, but just haven't had the opportunity to reach for it yet, but it's been beside me on my desk, so I thought that this was the perfect opportunity for today's video. I think it will also be nice to use this shade to do a little contour around the lips. I don't like to do this too much, but on the underlip, it does look nice. This is a nice subtle cream contour for me. I actually quite like this right here. It needs a bit of building up, but it's getting the job done. So it is multi-use if you do need it to be. We'll come back to this later, but I just wanted to get this on the outskirts of my face. And I have some new exciting blushes from Too Faced. These are the Cloud Crush Whipped Lip and Cheek colors. I imagine these are going to be like K-Beauty moussey style blushes. So this is the shade Headliner. Okay. Milk and Cookies. Milk and Cookies is a little warmer, which I guess is a good direction to go for today. Or let me try Red Velvet. Oh, wow. This could be fun to test as a blush, but you see as it blends out, it gives that blurred effect, which you can also put on the lips, but I'm going to try it mostly for the cheeks today. We're going to do just a dab of Red Velvet because red blush, while scary, can be really, really gorgeous when blended out and very universally flattering. Obviously, the more fair you are, the less you want. But that does give a blurred look over the cheek. That's actually very, very pretty. Ooh, I like this. If you like that whipped, blurred, kind of Asian-inspired blushes, I think you'll enjoy it. Now, do keep in mind, my extent of use of this is 2 dots on the cheek of 1 red shade. So I'm going to continue to use this blush and test it. But as you guys know, if you're new here, I have a series on my channel called Speed Reviews, where every single product that I test will not go into my makeup collection and be forgotten about. I keep it in a drawer in my desk, and it stays in that desk and it's tested. And the only way it can enter my main population of makeup is if I've tested it thoroughly enough that I can give you my final review in a Speed Reviews. And in order to make it to a Speed Reviews, I gotta know what I'm talking about with the products. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel, because you'll hear about these products again in a Speed Reviews after I've used them some more. But I really like this Red Velvet shade. I think this is gorgeous. So far I have a good impression on these. I wouldn't pair these with anything too glowy for a base because it is more matte, but it did just what it was supposed to do. I don't typically love like a moussey whipped blush like this, but there are a select few that I like. And so time will tell how I end up feeling about these, if I think I can use them regularly. But I think the performance for today for that bright shade was absolutely beautiful. There's a lot of powders that I have as options to test today. I purchased the Dior Forever Nude Radiant Filter, which I've been dying to play with, but I haven't had many opportunities. Fenty Beauty also just launched the Set It Down Superfine Blurring Setting Powder. This may have to be the one I use today because I didn't like Fenty's previous loose setting powder, so I want to see if they've improved on that. But Huda Beauty also launched their split pan pressed powders. So these are a mixture of 2 of their different shades, which went really viral. It's a very popular trend to mix the Huda Beauty shades. And so they went and did it for you. So there's Pink Pumpkin, which I think is going to be more for deeper complexions. And then as you can see, this is Cherry Peach, which I will eventually use. Not in today's video because I already know and love this formula dearly. So it's not really a test, it's just to play with the colors. I really want to test this Fenty. Oh yeah, it's super duper fine. There's powder flying everywhere. So this is in the shade Lavender. This is just the shade that they sent through to me. I'm gonna make sure my concealer is blended out. I've been loving using this Laura Mercier Camouflage Powder Brush to apply under eye powder. And this powder is super duper fine. I find that if you have mature under eyes, this is such a good way to pack on powder without it being too much powder. So I'm gonna try it this way, on this side. And then for funsies on the other side, I'm gonna use the sponge that Fenty provided in the PR package. Get that in here. Ooh, okay, so for this powder, I think I definitely prefer applying it with a sponge. I think it instantly makes my face look smoother. So sponge is the way to go with this particular powder. Yeah, it is definitely one of those powders that's really trendy now, where it's super duper fine, but much more blurring because of that. Sometimes these super fine powders though can make the skin look dry. Not too bad. I do feel the need to go in with a hydrating setting spray after this, which we do have one, but it's definitely much more blurring and much more fine than their original loose setting powder. So that definitely bumps it up for me. I'm gonna have to continue using it some more, but pretty good. And then because I can't help myself, I'm gonna dig into that Dior Forever Nude Radiant Filter to see if this will do anything. So they have other shades of this that are matte and skin tone, but this particular one that they were selling is meant to have a radiant finish to it. I think maybe like an hourglass finishing powder. NARS has a powder similar to this as well. Yeah, the radiance is super duper subtle. I can barely see it. I think how I would use a product like this, after just playing with it in this 1 second, I'd take a big fluffy brush. This one is from RMS Beauty. And I'd kind of just go all over to set the face, but also leaving some radiance. So if you have dry skin, a powder like this is fantastic because it's not overly drying or too heavy. And it does not have a completely matte finish to dry out the skin. So I do need to continue testing that powder out, but we're going to set everything down. I have 2 setting sprays. I'm going to disappoint you because I'm not going to use one of them, but there are 2 new ones at Sephora. This one hasn't come to Sephora yet, but I think it will. Laura Mercier just dropped this translucent hydrating setting spray, but apparently it's supposed to be ultra blurring as well. And then we have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray Matte Blur. A lot of setting sprays coming out lately. Particularly, I've noticed a lot of like the matte ones. But I like a matte one as somebody with dry skin, so I don't have to set my makeup with powder. But I did set with powder today, so my skin is actually in need of hydration. So I'm going to try this new Laura Mercier one out. And it's supposed to have an awesome mister. Yeah, super duper fine. It's actually quite strong. But how is this supposed to blur but also hydrate is what I'm curious about. I love a good old heavy layer, especially when I'm feeling dry. Ooh, that definitely helped with the hydration of my skin. It's still drying down a little bit, but I do feel like with all that powder that I layered over, this has brought the skin back to life. I'm gonna give it a couple more extra minutes to settle in while I prepare the eye products for today. My skin looks so natural today. I really like it. It looks very fresh, but still pretty blurred. So moving on to the eyes, we're heading back into the Naked Shaped palette. One thing I do have to mention, this packaging is super lightweight, like not in a good way, kind of in a cheapy way. So I don't love the packaging of this, but I do like the colors inside. And I do feel like I have some unfinished business with the Diamond Bomb collection from Fenty Beauty. I mentioned this a few weeks ago on my channel, but I haven't yet gotten a good opportunity to play with those yet. So I might incorporate some of those. But our main focus is going to be the Shaped palette because I want to continue messing around. We're going to do this cream that I used on my face. We're going to kind of use it to shape the eye, just like Natasha Denona, how she just launched a shaping and sculpting palette. I feel like that's kind of the vibe. This one as well. Even though this is the warmer one, I don't feel like it's too warm, like orange or anything. Like these are still really good tones. As somebody who prefers cool tones a lot of the time, I don't know, this is right up my alley still. So I do like this cream shade. I liked it for the face. I don't know if I'd like it for eyeliner or anything, but it's a really great base shade to start us off. I do have the Thrive Cosmetics eye primer on, but don't you love how we were able to sculpt the nose even a little bit with that? Let's get into the powders now. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here. Just a matte shade, and I'm gonna set the cream with this, and it added more warmth to the eye as well. I'm gonna take a tighter brush, run that along the lower lash line, build up some depth in the crease. Now this shade is quite warm, so this is where that warmth name in the palette comes in for sure. So we'll definitely do Fenty Gold, I'm thinking. Out of curiosity, taking the beige matte cream shade. Let's see. This you could use to sculpt under the brow too. Just using this to kind of brighten the area. That did brighten. Probably do it down here too. Your shimmer shade will stick better to that too. And then I'm gonna mix these 2 shades along my lower lash line. Taking the lightest matte shade for cleaning up the brow here. It's not as light as I really need it to be there, but that's okay. And then I'm taking the lightest shimmer, popping this in the inner corner. It should grab onto that cream shadow. And I need to test out a shimmer, so I'm feeling this one. Okay, that feels pretty creamy. All over the lid. Then from the Fenty Diamond collection, I'm taking the Shadow Stick in Champion. Look at this beautiful color. And I'm gonna put this right in the middle of the eyelid. You can see that it has the extra diamonds and glimmer. This is gorgeous. So this just adds some extra dimension to the look. Can put a little bit right here. Still need to get more use out of these. Oh my goodness. Another day. Don't know if I'm gonna end up liking this, but I'm gonna try the black cream to see how this goes as liner. I'm just using a really tiny Jones Road brush. It's not as dark and pigmented as I'd need it to be for like a gel liner situation, but you can probably set it with powder. Maybe take a small brush, smudge it too. And I'm just gonna lock it in with some powder just because that's what I feel comfortable with as an eyeshadow. Do love me a little smudging moment. We finished lashes now. While my mascara is drying before we get the big final curl in, I want to talk about this new fall lip collection from Gisou. Look how stunning this is. So this is the Glazed Lip Trio Honey Infused Lip Oils. We have Vanilla Glaze, Sticky Toffee, Milky Mocha. Oh, doesn't that just sound delightful? And I do really like these lip oils. They're a little thinner, but I like it in this formula. I feel like it's really glassy looking. I've enjoyed this formula thoroughly. So let's see, this is the vanilla. It smells good, really subtle, kind of like a creamy scent. I do have down Rephr Beauty Almond. I've been using this lip liner a lot. It's kind of the perfect base brown for fall. So this is almond. It's pretty sheer on it. It's like a milky pink, but it's basically a clear gloss. Sticky Toffee. That sounds so divine right now. Right up my alley. And this has a stronger scent to it that I really like. They're so deeply hydrating as well. I also used their hair oil today. I really like their hair oil. Okay, and then let's try Milky Mocha. Ooh! This is gonna be for my neutral brownie lip lovers. It shears out, but it definitely gives a little bit of definition on the lips. Ooh, I would say you probably don't need all three unless you get enjoyment out of the flavors in that kind of situation and just the overall vibe. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous fall collection, Gisou. I think for today, I'm gonna finish on Milky Mocha to wear. Today's fall look, I mean, it's so good. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing crazy that I haven't already done before, but I love it. It's totally giving fall vibes. I want to finish off this video with a couple new fragrance mists at Sephora that you might have missed, because I didn't hear too much about this. This is from Fenty Hair, and it's the Mista Hair and Body Fragrance. This has a floral scent, like fresh florals. The keynotes here are amber, freesia, and sandalwood. I've been loving the curl cream from Fenty Hair, and I feel like it's a little slept on. So I want to try this. Now, I'm not like a mist reviewer, fragrance reviewer by any means, but this does smell floral, which I'm normally not into florals. It's almost a little powdery, but I don't mind it actually. Like, you would smell fresh and clean leaving the house with this scent. So I like it, but you know, I like to smell like candy. It's not gonna make me smell like candy, but something tells me this might. Too Faced randomly also came out with a limited edition fragrance mist in the smell Fairy Balm. The packaging to me looks pretty cheap. Oh, this smells like Libby Lou to me, or something. Like Claire's, or Limited 2. That's how juvenile this is giving. I'm gonna tell you guys something sick though. I like it. But this reminds me of the things made for little girls that I would make my mother buy for me. It looks like it too. This is not a sophisticated scent at all. No, probably don't spend your money on it. It will probably only last like 2 minutes, but it smells really good for me, as somebody with the most unsophisticated nose in the world. But I probably wouldn't spend my own money on this because even I can tell this is really, really juvenile. If you're going into Sephora with your daughter, beware. If she smells this, she might want it. But it's very, very fruity and sweet. And how do they describe it online? Complete opposite from the Fenty hair. It's still $28. Apple, mandarin, lemon, and pear. So yeah, very, very, very fruity. It smells good. It does, but I don't think a lot of you guys will like it, knowing you guys. But anyways, that is my fall makeover and using some of the newest fall launches. Most of these aren't holiday launches. They're mostly for the fall. I'm trying to think what the standouts were. I enjoyed pretty much almost everything that I used today. I think the skin tint is settling in. It's looking nice. I really enjoyed the Fenty primer so far. Nothing knocked my socks off, but everything was like very there in good quality. Even the Armani skin tint. Surprisingly enjoyed the Cloud Crush blushes from Too Faced. Gonna have to keep using these though. The Fenty powder was nice. Laura Mercier setting spray was nice. I actually really did enjoy using the Urban Decay Naked Shaped palette. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. It's not the most amazing quality you'll ever use, but it's very, very nice. I had no issues with the quality. So if it appeals to you, like I think this is worth picking up if you can get a discount on it. I loved the Gisou fall collection, but again, you don't need it. I would say all of these fall launches so far, they're giving super solid. So let me know if you've tried any of these down below. As always, make sure you're subscribed to my channel because these are going in my speed reviews drawer where I will continue to test them and see if I actually end up using them. And we'll have them all linked down below for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're eyeing from Sephora and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys, have a good one.
It's delicious.